Hey, Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. This is a daily check-in, right? And just so happens I have a guest, Miss Paula Carreirão. Something like that. Did I say it right? See,
You did. Yeah, 95% right. So it's perfect. It's great. Thank you,
see,
Russell, for
you're
the
welcome.
effort.
You're welcome. That's why I call her Paula C because I don't want to butcher her last name. It's a beautiful last name, and I don't want to disrespect it. So I just say Paula C. Okay, that's just make it easy. So she's Paula C to me. So anyway, hey, we're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn. Happy Friday to everybody. Paula C is gonna. Oh, well, she's on. I was gonna say she's gonna come on. No, she's on. And we're gonna talk a little bit about policy and what's going on with Cloudbeds and their podcast. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, and just have a conversation. This is all about just having a conversation. It's not an interview because people are like, oh my God, Russell, you interview policy. No, I'm not interviewing anybody. We're having a conversation. Policy has a job. I got a job too, so I'm not interviewing anybody. Okay, so now we're just having just a friendly conversation about podcasts. But before I get into that, Policy gave me a brief bio, just in case people, if you don't know who Policy is, I'm going to give you just a little information about who Policy is. So, Policy is a hospitality leader who currently works as a senior PR and partner marketing specialist at Cloudbeds. With over 10 years of experience in hospitality, Paula has been an important voice for the hotel industry for the past 6 years, writing and speaking about hospitality and technology in blog posts, podcasts, and webinars. Paula has a flair for public speaking and has been invited to international podcasts and events to talk about hospitality, career, and content marketing. She was named Global Top Social Media Influencer Hospitality for 5 consecutive years. What? Okay, from 21 to 25. Okay, congratulations, Miss Paula C. Paula is a frank and authentic advocate for the industry, and you can always count on her contagious laughter to make noteworthy conversations even more engaging. So welcome to the microphone and to the Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels, Miss Paula C.
Thank you so much, Russell. It is a bit weird to hear all that about yourself. And fun fact, when I was updating this short bio, I was like, oh my God, I've been in the industry for a while. I did not. It's funny how time flies,
Yeah.
and you don't really. But like, oh yeah, last time I was actually working in a hotel. Sometimes I think it was yesterday, but it was. I think I left the last hotel in 2018, so it's already
Wow.
7 years, like hotels, right? And then because then I went for hotel tech company,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah. So I still I kept in the industry, but I just changed a little bit scenarios. But yeah, but thank you so much for having me on the show. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes. No,
Always fun. You always make me laugh. And have to be fun. Otherwise it's not worth it. So thank you so much.
Exactly. Well, what's new? What's new with podcast? And well, let me just ask this: when did you catch the podcast bug? When was it like your first podcast? When was that?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. Actually, I started as I think many content creators started in the pandemic because
Okay.
everything was online, right? So,
Mhm.
and then was a boom of podcasts. So, I started then. So that this is like 2020, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2020. And then I really liked it. I did not think I would like doing it, like being the host.
Okay.
I was. It doesn't seem like, but I am shy. And yeah, no, I talk a lot, but I am shy. But you know what? Podcast is. I mean, for me at least, has an advantage that I only see you, right? Like I don't. It's not in person event, which is a challenge that I would like to take
Okay.
one time, at least once in my life. But it is easier for people like me, at least, that sometimes I even forget that it's being broadcast, and because it seems like it's a conversation. So anyway, so yeah, so I started in 2020, and I was really really nervous. I did not think that I would continue doing that. I was like, I'm gonna do it because the company would like to try it. Everybody was kind of doing it, so let's try it. And I was okay. But it is an extra challenge because most of the times I do it in English, and everybody knows it's not my mother language. So I was like, I'm gonna become a meme. I'm gonna say something really bad. Like, this is not gonna work. I was really, really worried. But I think you have to try. And I mean, what is the worst that could happen? I see people in content that are shy or afraid of trying things.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you're in marketing and if you're in content marketing, you gotta try. Maybe it's not for you, then that's fine. But try whatever it's holding you back, and maybe you'll find out that it was exactly what you. Oh, this is not that bad, and was exactly what you need and wanted. So yeah, so that's how it started in 2020. Yeah.
Oh wow. So your advice to people that are shy about doing podcasts is at least try it one time. If you don't like it after
Yeah.
that, then okay, but at least try
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then I mean, videos are a format that it's still popular as a content format that is still popular, and some people say I don't want to be. Again, you can try it, see maybe it's not that bad, and if it's still like okay, this is not for me, you can do like voiceover. There are so many other things that you can do,
Mm-hmm.
still using video format and not necessarily be in front of the camera. So I think in marketing you have to have curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be a little bit bold, have courage. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck doing the same things over and over. And marketing does not work like that. You know that. Marketing changes all the time. So like literally every day. I don't know.
I
So
like
yeah,
that. I
you
like
have to.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that.
you
You
have
said
to.
you have to be bold. That's a strong statement. That's a good
Oh
statement.
my God.
Yeah, that is. You have to be bold, right? That's
Yeah,
good. In order to be a marketer, to promote
yeah,
things, even if it's yourself, you got to be bold. You got to do things that maybe is
yeah,
outside of your comfort zone, if you will.
yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
you,
like that.
you have to pay attention, of course, to what it. I mean, I'm not saying you do have your own personality, so
Yes.
I'm not saying you have to fit in a box,
Yes.
but I think you have to be aware of trends and things. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing for yourself, right? We're doing for our audience.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is the challenge too, and I would love to hear your opinion about that, by the way, because you're a content creator. When we do content, I at least I sometimes I fall in the trap that I do things that I like and
Okay.
not necessarily what the audience would like, because sometimes you're not your audience, and that's what you have to be like keep in mind, that especially when you work for companies, right?
Yes.
If you're doing maybe for yourself or your personal branding, maybe I think it's easier. But when
Yes.
you're doing marketing for companies, you kind of have to. So you have to be pay attention to trends and what your audience like, and see if it fits you and the company, of course, strategy. It have to make sense. But yeah, you have to keep your eyes open and be curious, and yeah, and try things. I guess that's it. That's my final.
Yeah. No.
Stay tuned.
That sounds good. No, that sounds
Yeah.
good. And yeah, there's a difference. I guess there's a difference between like me. I work for me, right? But
Mhm.
there's different trends that come out that I want to make sure that I mention as well. No one's telling me that hey, you should talk about this or don't talk about that or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever I think is good content for the hospitality space. That's I'm gonna share. So I don't necessarily. I mean, I can understand if you work with somebody, you got to stick within those boundaries. And not that I go outside any kind of boundaries. It's just that my thoughts are my thoughts, right? So these are,
Yeah.
and I always make sure I let people know that this is based on my experiences. It's not based on anyone else. No one told me this. I may have read something about this. I may have experienced it myself. So this is my take on that, on my
Yeah.
experiences. So no, it's good because you never want to do anything to taint your brand either. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
thing that I look at. Am I doing something that's going to harm my brand? Because you got to remember that, yeah, I've been doing this for a while. Yeah, maybe since I want to say my first podcast that I was a guest on was 2018, and I started
Okay.
my podcast 2019. So I always remember that, okay, just because I can say it doesn't mean I should say it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can I can say anything, but
Yeah.
how are people going to take it? You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
not I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily here for shock value or anything like that. So
No, but that's important point because your personal brand is an important, as important or more important than a company brand. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like it is. Yeah. You have to protect it,
yes.
and yeah, that's a valid point for sure. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So what's new with Cloud
Yeah.
Beds podcast?
Yeah. So we had this podcast called the Turn Down Podcast. In this one,
Love
I'm
that
not the
name.
host. We were talking about since we were talking about being a host. In this one, I'm involved in the project with the marketing team. The host is Sebastian Leitner, our VP of partnerships at Cloudbeds. This is we just launched season 3
Okay.
on last Wednesday now. So we are really, really excited because, well, first of all, it's back. And what I like about Cloud Beds and the podcast, I think many podcasts maybe have the same goals, but at least in Cloud Beds, we do have, we want to elevate the industry, right? And we think that through um, connecting the industry with innovating minds, that's a very a superpower resource. So we like that. That's I think that's one of our goals doing the podcast. So yeah, so we just launched it as I mentioned. This season it's a bit different in terms of we have guests from all around the world. We have like North America, we have APAC, we have Latin America. So we really try to be global, more global this season. All the guests, well, guests, even though they're from different parts of the world, this is also really good. Um, they do have local issues, of course, but there are some issues they are very universal in the industry, right? And I think it's interesting to see that. And so some of the challenge that many guests has talked about is like how to rethink commercial strategies, for example, something that I think you probably know one thing or two with marketing and revenue, and sales and how to make everybody on the same page. That's something that it was one of the topics of the conversations. Profitability, it's of course a big challenge in today's hospitality. Artificial intelligence could not we have to mention and automation because we do it. I'm using more and more. I don't know about you, so even I'm not talking about hotels, but in my daily work I'm using more and more. ChatGPT is assistant,
Yeah.
my assistant. I don't know if you use it, but yeah, so it's in the hotels and operations and hotel management. It is more and more. Labor shortage is still a problem,
Yes.
and I feel sad actually personally that it's still a problem because the problem, from what I'm understanding, maybe you have a different view. It's because most people, like at least here, it's not an attractive industry, and it is so sad because it's an industry that I really like and I'm passionate about. But I do understand that it became, at least here in Brazil, and again, we love your opinion on the United States, but here became not attractive. Like why I will, you know, work so hard for so many hours without any holidays, and all that stuff that people that work in a office get
Mm-hmm.
for so little income. Here, at least, it's a lot about this. It's about not being attractive in terms of salary. So it is still a big issue. I'm not sure how it's in the United States now.
Oh yeah,
Do you
it's
see
still there's still shortages of employees and things like that. So some of the same issues that you're having there, they're having here as well. But it's funny. I happen to be a speaker at a college, a college that has a hospitality program,
Oh.
just last week, and
Oh.
it was I was in one class, so it was about 20 people, and they're excited about the hospitality industry. They're excited to get
Cool.
in. So one reason that I went, because I wanted to see, is this next generation of hospitality professionals, do I have anything to worry about? You know what I mean? Should I be worried
Yeah.
that things are going to be going down? No, I don't think so. Just based on the some of the conversations and the excitement of what they're going to be doing once they graduate. It was good. I could walk out there and say, you know what, the industry is going to be in good hands. But the thing of it is it is now there's something that's, I mean, what am I trying to say? Like the employees in certain departments, it's still down as far as the labor shortage, I guess, if you will. So a lot of that stuff is still happening. Housekeeping, front office,
Yeah.
some of the food and beverage. Those are not up to before COVID levels, if you will. So some hotels are still running. I want to say I heard something like maybe 60-70% of where they were before COVID.
Yeah.
So that's not a good thing at all. So what do we do to entice people to come back?
Yeah.
I think more things like video, whatever, trying to get people to come and work at your hotel. It has to be exciting. You have to show things. I
Yeah.
mean, we do all these things via video, TikTok, and all these kind of things, but we're not focusing on trying to get more people. We'll do it for other stuff, but when it comes to recruitment, we're not doing a good enough job. And like podcasts and things like that, we need to start talking about that. Talking about, because you don't know I mean, you think you know who your audience is, but you never know who may be listening. Okay, you may know who your core audience is, but you don't know who may just happen to be on the podcast or listening that one time and what they may need to hear. So if we are professionals in this industry and we're concerned about that, we need to start mentioning it. I mean, one thing that I do on my show every week, I always mention positions that are open in the greater Los Angeles area. They may be just management jobs or whatever, but we can take that a step further and say, hey, we have housekeeping positions open. We have food and beverage positions open. We need people at the front desk as well, front office or whatever. We need to make sure we promote that as much as we can. And I just think as an industry, we don't utilize all the tools that we have. And what I mean by tools, people can be guests on podcasts. People can make videos if they want to promote their hotel, as well as promote, you want employees to, you want people. I have these job openings. Promote the job openings. It's okay to do that. I mean, it's okay to step out, and I'm going to use your word. It's okay to step out and be bold and do things. And that's where, when marketing or promotion, it's about being bold. It's about doing things that someone else is not doing. You know what I mean? So I just think that we need to take more control over that aspect of it. And I think podcasts and video talk shows, live talk shows or whatever, I think those are the way to do it.
Yeah. No, I think you also mentioned something that got me thinking. Not only we don't promote the job openings that we have and all that, but also I think you mentioned we should hotels they are looking to hire more staff. They should promote how is to work there, like in videos, like employee branding, it's called, in marketing. They
Yes.
don't do that much. I don't see it. They're just for guests, you know what I mean, but not
Exactly.
for the employees. So yeah,
Yeah, show what they do. Show what a day in the life of a front office person, a day in the life of a housekeeper. How to make things, the day go fast. I mean, whatever. You can be as creative as you want to be, but like I said, people they shy away from that stuff. And I don't know why. But like I said, we'll show anything. We'll show guest related things. Okay, I get that. But there's more of a problem. The problem is there's not enough people to take care of the guests. That's the problem. So we need to switch it And like, okay, well, if we're down employees, we need to do whatever we can to get more employees in here. And obviously, the old way of doing things is not working. So if something's
Yeah.
not working, then it needs to be fixed. So, and I just think
Yeah.
that going back to what I'm saying, and I can say this because I've been in this industry for 30 years. I know what works and what's not, and this is not working. So, whatever the old way of trying to get and retain employees, it's
Mhm.
not working. So, we need to do something different.
Yeah. No, no, you also touch another point. It's not only to hire new staff, but retaining it's also a big problem. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really, really true. And that reminds me, Russell, that actually, like next week, I'm gonna have not the podcast. I'm gonna have the Cloudbeds Live. It's another product that I do at Cloudbeds. It's a live show on LinkedIn, like kind of like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the guest, what I want to say is that the guest for next week it's Thomas Feeney, and he is an expert in recruiting, especially for revenue management in the UK.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about one thing I think that we should talk more as well, and he will talk about, of course, how is the market and how it is in the UK, that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But also he's gonna talk about the new role of revenue management manager, because some roles in hospitality, I think I'm pretty convinced that has changed because because of technology and because how hotels operate right now. So skills that specifically now talking about revenue managers might needed before could have changed now, or other skills are more. Hotels want more. So one thing that I also we should be talking about is how it is today, the roles of a general manager, and how is today a revenue, because I think many of, I'm gonna talk about myself now, I still have the same idea of when I used to work in hotels, and it's not, again, like I said, the operations in the hotel has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Technology has changed the way things are done, and focusing, before, I don't know, focus were more do create spreadsheets or whatever it is, and now it's not. So yeah, so I think I'm very excited for this, honestly, for this conversation, because I think what I wanted the audience to know and myself to know, it's first of all what hotels are looking for, and because they say it's so hard to hire, what it is, and then and maybe help this new generation to
Yes.
show them a little bit of the way, like, okay, this is what what hotels need,
Mm-hmm.
and try to match. So I'm very excited about this one, this episode, actually. And especially because it's from Eats Europe, it's another market. It's
Mm-hmm.
always good to have another insight, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, do
Yeah.
you like doing lives more than the recorded podcast?
I do like, I have to say, I do like live shows. I like the chaos. I get stressed a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm a bit neurotic, so I'm like, oh my god, internet. It happened. Everything that I think you can think of, it happened to me in live shows. Like my internet crash, or I don't know. I was remembering once I was a moderator actually of a panel, and have like four people, and then I was talking to one, and I was not really looking to all four of them, you know what I mean, like I was focusing one, so uh, I just asked something to one of the guests in the panel, but he was like, it was exactly when he decided to eat. I did not see. So it's like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh, what should I do now? Should I take it back? Oh wait, you eat. Of course, I was not expecting that he would start eating, but you know what I mean. So there's things like that. It becomes great stories, honestly. That's why I actually, that's my personal project. I started, and I have to say I'm not being good at it, but I started the behind the content, my newsletter on LinkedIn, and it was supposed to be just stories
Mm-hmm.
about doing the shows, because I'm pretty sure you have many stories as well. There was one one conversation. I used to do more panels before. Now I do more one-on-one, but before was like, 3 or 4 people. And then 3 or 4 people, it's different. The conversation is different. And it can go like you lose control as a whole. Like you can really go like. And then I remember once. I don't remember how we got there, but I just remember that at some point we were talking about Valentine's, and then they start like making fun of each other, and and then oh Paula, then start please sing, and then they start like sing, and I have to sing in the middle, like it was like chaos. It was chaos, but I love it. I have to say, Russell, I do like the chaos. What about you? What do you prefer?
I prefer the lives, but for totally different reasons. I guess I don't like to edit. I think that's
Mm,
why. So I don't like to edit, and it
true.
takes too much of my time. And I said, and
Yeah.
that's why I started doing lives because of that. It took too much time to edit, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna catch the raw footage. Whatever happens, happens. If I make a mistake, say the wrong thing, whatever. This is what you're gonna get. So that's
Yeah.
and to this day, that's what I do. So every show that I do, for the most part,
Yeah.
unless I'm a guest on someone else's show, it's
Hmm.
all live. It's 100% live. Just
Yeah.
like today, it's all
Yeah.
live, right? So,
It
um,
all can happen, Russell, and we
yes.
know no. Anything can happen, and we're here.
Yes.
Everybody's
Yes.
watching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed live shows, but I do like podcasts as well. I don't like editing. I'm with you.
Hmm.
Usually, I have some help with that, to be honest,
Well, so
if
it's
I
good.
need
It's
it.
good when you have help. I don't have help. It's just me. So if I don't do it, it's not gonna get done. So yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So
But yeah, sorry, going back to the just for the podcast, because I think I just didn't finish what I was. Apologize. I talk a lot. Yeah, but what I was saying that what I wanted to say is that do we have like guests from the global to this season? It's more global, and it's very interesting to see the challenges. Um, Not exactly the same,
mhm.
but many of the challenges are the same, or somehow the same. And one thing that I really like about the podcast, it's really about like real life stories,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yes.
I think, because sometimes I think I don't know if you do it, but before in other projects, not this one, we also do like videos for educational, in a sense of what you should do, like what is overbooking, and then you explain what is like more educational, right?
Yes.
Which I think it's valuable and people learn from it. But
Mm-hmm.
personally, Paula, I do like the real stories and conversations, and we definitely have many great stories that I think will inspire a lot of hoteliers that are listening, because of course that's why I listen to your podcast and other podcasts, listen to or watch to, because you see a story that you share and then think, oh, maybe I could do, maybe not the same because different situations, but you can adapt. And again, being having this curiosity all the time of how people do, how people are, facing maybe the same challenges that you are. I really like that. I really see value in that. So
Mm-hmm.
again, really happy and proud to be in this season the way it is. That we try to make it as real as possible
Yes.
with great voices from the industry. So yep.
No, why are podcasts? Let me just ask this: why are podcasts so popular? Why do you think?
Why? I honestly think that it was a boom in the pandemic situation. It got us. I think it's a easy, digestible content.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to digest. I don't know if I said it right. Sorry.
No, that
But
sounds
easy to
good.
digest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, easy to digest. I think many people, that I don't know if this is a good or bad. Now they're gonna say, actually, I don't know if it's good or bad, because I know many people that listen to podcasts and do other kind of things at the same time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
are like we like to do multi tasks.
Yes.
and I think allows you. I think it's easy because if I personally like to go for a walk,
Mm.
or so it's easy access, again, easy to understand. Usually they are very niche.
Mm-hmm.
So like I want hospitality, go to hospitality podcast, and easy to find what you want, I think, in a way. um but I don't know. That's my would be my guess why are so popular. And I think it gives also, they're usually interviews. Well, there are podcasts, not so much in the hospitality industry, but in other industries. There are podcasts, they're just one person, I don't know, telling a story or something, but usually are conversations. People like conversation. I think it makes it more human, to
Yes. Yes.
humanize the content in a way.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
So
I like that. Yeah. I
yeah,
like the everyone has a story to tell.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's, if you can relate it to whatever you're talking about, whatever the subject matter is, if that's hospitality or whatever, and you're talking about your experiences and things like that, I think there's enough people within hospitality that can relate to something that you're saying. You know what I mean? So they
Mhm.
understand, like, oh my God, now I went through that too, or I'm experiencing that right now, or so I guess that's how I look at it when I first started it. I wanted to share my experiences, and
Mhm.
I saw. I mean, there's 3 million podcasts out there, right? So,
Yeah.
but the thing of it is, and that's what kind of scares people away from doing a podcast. But they say, well, there's already 3 million out there, so why? What can I add? Well, the thing of it is that there's 3 million out there, but they're not all active. You know what I mean? There may be 3 million that have started, but that doesn't mean they're still current, right? And
True.
because some people get, they don't like how they sound on the podcast, or they don't like the way
Yeah.
they look, or maybe somebody saying, what do you know about this subject matter, or whatever. So people
Yeah.
get, yeah, people can easily get sidetracked because someone didn't like it. And that's one thing that I said, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what people say. I know I have something to say, and I'm gonna do it. So that's pretty much why why
No,
I started,
but
why I
yeah,
listen.
but yeah, no, it's a good point, because it takes courage to
Yeah.
be on a pod, to be a host. Like it's your face, it's your voice, it's
Yeah.
your, and of course, no, of course, not everybody will like you. Like you will eventually meet some not so positive feedback, and you
Yes.
have to be mature enough, or I don't know, be mentally prepared, because it's
Yeah.
not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It hurts you a little bit,
Yeah. It can.
because
It can.
you do your best. It's like, what? But
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. So when does your podcast, what's it called again? It's
yeah.
called
The turn down, the
the
turn down.
turn down. Okay, first of all, I
Yeah.
love that name, the turn down. Okay, so when does it normally air? I know you did your first
Yeah.
episode.
On Wednesday, every Wednesday now,
Okay.
we will dropping a new episode. So the first episode, as you said and I mentioned, is out. It was with Richard Kessler,
Okay.
chairman and CEO of the Kessler Collection. He's like a
Oh,
legend in the
Kessler
hotel
out here
development.
yeah, I know a couple of his properties.
Yeah, I think
The
you have
South
a little bit
Carolina,
of
North
Europe, but have
Carolina.
Savannah, Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Kessler.
yeah. So,
Yes.
you know it. Yeah. So he have like over 50 years in experience in hotel development and management.
Yes.
So he talks about luxury properties,
Yes.
and if you know him or know the properties, he mix very well with art, which is
Yes.
something
Yes.
very, for me at least, very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is out, as I said. You can find episodes, this episode and all the episodes from previous seasons, because we have season 1 and 2, and all the new ones. At Cloudbeds website, we have the podcast. If you go to resource, have podcast there. So cloudbeds.com/slash the turn down podcast. And then you can also find, of course, in the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple. Sorry, but there was a little bug here in my head. Apple Podcast, YouTube. they're there as well. And I can even give you a little bit of a spoiler, Russell, if that's
Please,
okay with you,
please,
because we're gonna do
yeah.
the second episode will be out next week, so every Wednesday, as I said, and this time will be with Lori Keel. She's a senior vice president of revenue management at Pyramid Global Hospitality,
Okay.
and she oversees over 70 hotels, branded and independent. So, and she talks a lot about talent that we were talking now.
Okay.
So this, if this is a topic that you like, you have to
Yeah,
listen.
that's yeah. I got
The
comments
talent,
about that.
yeah, the talent crisis, what it takes to attract, retain, what we were saying here. And she also talks about this, the challenge that to bring together, that I mentioned before, bring together sales, marketing, revenue management. We still, we I say we as a hotelier, but hotels is still hotels is still operates in silos, and that's
Yeah.
something that she also share her opinion about. So the importance of collaboration, and how to, to create a pipeline of passionate hospitality professionals in the talent crisis. So it's a very interesting episode. I'm sure
That
people will
sounds
like
like it.
it.
That sounds
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
There's some buzzwords that you put in there, like
uh,
sales and marketing working in silos,
I'm
independently,
sorry,
independently
I
of
am
each other. Yeah, that's
the
not good.
buzzwords. This is my marketing
Yes.
vein talking,
Yes.
probably.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you know what I mean. Departments working,
Oh yeah, no, I understand
separately. Yeah,
exactly. I understand
yeah,
exactly. And I know for a fact that's how it works, right? So
yeah.
and that's not necessarily it's never been good.
No.
Um and it's well I'm glad that someone is maybe addressing that or seeing that that is an issue that it should be together and should not be independently of each other. I mean, even I was a director of sales and marketing, but because
Yeah,
of the demands of on property, you're doing more selling than marketing. You know what I mean? So why do I have
yeah,
that title if I'm only going to be concentrate on one thing? So, and what a lot of directors of sales and marketing don't realize that marketing is what can steer the ship for the most part. I mean, sales. I mean, your sales manager. You have sales managers to do that, but someone has to manage the marketing. And a lot of hotels they may use PR companies or whatever, but they don't even know what the PR companies are doing for their hotels. Like,
yeah.
we have a PR company that does our social media. Okay, well, what are they putting out? I don't know. That's them. I'm like, what? So they don't
And
even
then
know. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. And then they create the demand that, I don't know, that the people in the hotel doesn't even know about it. Like,
Exactly.
why people are asking about this and that or that? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting, to
It
say
is
the
very
least.
interesting. So I have to listen. I definitely have to listen to that
Yeah.
one as well as Mr. Kessler. So
Richard Kessler,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes, yes,
Actually,
yes.
because have you seen any properties? Just
Yeah,
I'm just
I've
curious.
seen the ones in North South Carolina, Savannah, and I've actually
Yeah.
booked the one in South Carolina. I
Oh,
booked it. I put a group there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
cool.
very familiar with the Kessler collection. Very nice
And
property.
that, and that, and that was not script or
No,
planned.
not at
Yeah, that's
all.
funny. See?
Not at all. I have yes. I have clients that they only use the Kessler collection now
Wow.
because
See?
it's elevated services, elevated
Yeah.
expectations. So yeah, so no, I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it and I appreciate what they've done with that brand and yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
Richard
You
Kessler
can
for
you can
doing what
send
he
the
did.
episode to your clients as well, and listen from himself what his vision and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
a funny. Yeah. See, that's the magic of live shows, collaborations. You never know
Exactly.
what.
You
Yeah.
never know what's gonna come out of my mouth. So yeah. Oh man, that is funny. So
Yeah.
hey, we're on with Miss Paula C. of Cloudbeds podcast, and the podcast is called. It's coming into season 3. Well, season 3 has already started. It's called the Turn Down Podcast. You know, what an appropriate name
Exactly.
for a podcast. So the Turn Down.
Ah.
Okay. So, do you have any closing words? I mean, we're getting towards the end of this conversation. We
No,
appreciate you
yeah.
coming on.
First of all, thank you for being such a great host as always, Russell, and being so nice and talking to me and give me this space. First of all, and I'm again very happy about the project. This project, very excited about it. If your listeners, if they have, I'm always for feedback. We were talking about feedback before, and then if any of your listeners want to send me a message, follow me on LinkedIn, please do so. I'll be happy to talk to you, and because I'm always in the look. Do you say that? I'm always looking for the next topic, next project, next. So yeah, and so listening to this should be a conversation, even though podcast can be. It seems like it's one way. I like when it happens the conversation and we get feedback and we get that's why I think we all do content. We want the responses. We want to know how it's going, like really going. So yeah, so please feel free to connect with me, and thanks again, Russell. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
You're more than welcome, Paula C. And Paula C is one of the few people that if one date doesn't work, as far as like we were originally supposed to do this on a Tuesday, right? But she had a scheduling conflict, and I said, okay, well then let's do it on Friday then. And she said, "Oh, we can do that." I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that." I said, "For Paula C, I can do anything." So no, I
so
appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's been fun knowing you and having conversation with you and being on your show as well as you being on my show.
Yeah.
So whenever you want, you just let me know, and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just quickly promote your, because that's true. He was in the Cloudbeds Live, and we talk about group bookings, and it was really good conversation. You can find the episode on YouTube, Cloudbeds YouTube, or Cloudbeds website as well, under Cloudbeds Live. You'll find it. And thank you, Russell. Again, we should definitely meet. I don't know how, but we should definitely meet someday in person, because we've met so many times online that it's so strange that we don't actually.
Our paths will cross one day, Paula C.
Yeah. You're gonna have to go to Brazil though.
Okay, well that's where I'm gonna go then. I'm on my way to Brazil then. So anyway, but no, thank you so much, Paula C. Appreciate your time. Once again, Miss Paula C. And look out for season 3 of the Turn Down podcast as part of the Cloudbeds family, okay? So Miss Paula C. is here representing them. See, there you go. There you go. What did I say?
Mug. Let's go. It's in Portuguese.
Vamos?
Vamos. Yeah, vamos means let's go, right? So let's go,
Spanish
team.
too. Vamos.
Yeah.
Vamos. Yeah, okay.
Vamos. Yeah. Vamos team. So let's go team, basically.
Very good. So we're gonna vamos right now. So anyway, you have a great day, Policy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And anything I can do for you, just let me know, please.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.